Hello, friends. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I had a pretty great weekend. It was very busy, so I'm a little tired today. Something I wanted to talk about today. I just really wanted to talk about it because I was talking about it this morning with a friend, and I think it is so completely relevant to where we are in the stages of what's happening around the world and just being a part of like what you would consider the truther community in general. The only reason I'm really even a part of the truther community is because I very much am very open-minded when it comes to a lot of things. And I guess it's not very normal for people my age to be open-minded, which is really sad. And it's something that I have actually 1,000% seen in this whole journey and really most of my life, because I was always very different from the people that I was friends with and kind of always kept myself quiet. Just for the sake of having friends and being a normal teenager and surviving in this crazy brainwash world that we seem to be living in these days. But something that we were talking about was, this the whole reason for this entire WAR that we are a part of and that we are going through right now is something that I've just been continuously preaching because I can't get away from it. It feels like the whole point of everything. And that is learning how to trust yourself again. Because at one point in your life when you were young, and you probably don't remember, you did in fact trust yourself and have very solid ideas and opinions and thoughts about things. You knew more when you were a child than you do now, because you have chosen to forget what you knew before you came into this realm. And I feel like that's the whole point of everything that's going on in the world right now, is this idea of learning how to trust yourself again. And learning that all of the questions that you have, all of the answers that you need are inside of you. And you do not have to go to anybody else for external answers, for internal answers. Like, you don't have to ask external questions. And that's something that people don't realize. Like, growing up where I grew up and the type of culture I grew up in, it was always like, you have to seek advice outside of yourself, which is totally great and totally fine, because of course there's so much to learn from everyone around you. But this idea that you didn't really know yourself, you didn't know what was best for you, you didn't know what was happening in the world or with family, friends, or people in another state, you always had to find your information through an external source, whether it was your pastor, MSN, whatever. And I just felt like saying that whether you get your information from MSN or the truther community, it's still kind of the same beast. Because you're still relying on other people to tell you what you actually intuitively already know, but you just don't trust yourself to know it, to connect to yourself in that way to get those answers. And that's what the dark side has always wanted. That's what we've been brainwashed and programmed to believe for generations now. I mean, it starts with, the idea of children know nothing. Children must be essentially being into submission. No, children know a whole lot more about what really matters than we do. And, you know, essentially beating them into submission to get them to act like little adults is like the worst thing that we could ever do. And probably a lot why our society and culture is the way that it is, and why we are so easily brainwashed, because we have no sense of self anymore. Because once you connect to your inward self and put all of the pieces back together that have been fragmented through trauma, through belief systems and whatever, you actually start connecting to everyone else. And the game telephone kind of becomes a reality in a very spiritual way. Because the truth of the matter is, every person that calls himself a truther and whatnot, we're all just guessing. We're all just guessing. I think that's why like the spiritual community has kind of like risen to the top of the truther community, because, you know, the people that are spiritual trust themselves and are in a way somewhat of a example of where we're headed. Definitely not the whole truth, but part of it for sure, and a way to kind of ease people into it. It's just because they're connected to within, and they're getting their information from within instead of externally. I truly believe that like maybe 3 to 5 people know exactly what is going on in the world right now. And that's it. And none of us are connected to them in a physical way. We're all spiritually connected to them, but not physically. So in order to really find out what's going on in the world and who to trust and who not to trust, and when this whole movie will be over, you have to go within. And on the subject of everything being a movie right now, it for sure is. But the thing is, this movie has been playing for hundreds of years, I believe. The elites and the people that have been running the world have always been like 30 to 50, who knows, maybe even more years ahead of us. It's like watching a 50s sitcom and then getting a view of the production crew and, you know, all of the technology that they're using to film the sitcom. It's like, you know, when you get that perspective change, you realize that, oh, we're really behind what they are actually so naturally doing. I mean, even Shakespeare said, the world is a stage and we are all merely players in it. We have been players in this little game, in this little stage play that the elite have been putting on for generations now. And they keep us in this little stage play by traumatizing us with external things so that we can continue to be brainwashed and have their narrative pushed. So stop playing the game and stop looking out there and start realizing that, oh, you're not just an actor, you're a person with your own thoughts, with your own ideas, with your own gifts, your own abilities. And start tapping into who you actually are instead of who you were meant, who they told you were going to play. I think that's all for today. Feeling a little feisty this morning, but what else is new? All right, have a great day. Bye.